Over 1,400 years ago, when microscopes didn't exist and science had no understanding of human development, the Qur'an described in perfect detail how every one of us comes into existence stage by stage, from a tiny drop to a complete human being. Could these words truly come from a man in the desert, or are they a sign of the Creator Himself? Allah says in the Holy Quran, "Man we did create from a quintessence of clay. Then we placed him as a drop of sperm in a place of rest, firmly fixed. Then we made the sperm into a clot of congealed blood. Then of that clot we made a lump. Then we made out of that lump bones and clothed the bones with flesh. Then we developed out of it another creature. So blessed be Allah, the best to create." Surah Al-Mu'minun, verses 12 to 14. Each phrase in this verse carries knowledge that took scientists over 1,000 years to uncover. Allah says, "We placed him as a drop of sperm in a place of rest, firmly fixed." The Arabic phrase Qararin Makin means a secure lodging, a place well protected. Modern science now knows that the uterus is guarded by the spinal column, muscles, and the amniotic sac, all providing the developing embryo a perfectly safe and stable environment, a tiny drop of fluid resting in a fortress designed by Allah. Next, Allah says the drop becomes Alaqah, a word with three astonishing meanings. Something that clings, a leech-like substance, a blood clot. At this stage, the embryo literally clings to the wall of the uterus. Under a microscope, it looks exactly like a leech and behaves like one too, drawing blood from its mother. Even the internal appearance resembles a clot of blood, because the embryo's blood is contained within closed vessels. How could anyone in the 7th century have known this? It wasn't until 1677 that scientists like Ham and Leeuwenhoek first saw sperm cells under a primitive microscope. They believed each sperm contained a tiny human inside, a theory called preformation. Later, others thought the miniature human existed in the egg instead. Only in the 18th century did scientists begin to understand that both sperm and egg contribute equally what we now call biparental inheritance. Yet the Quran had already described the process with perfect accuracy more than 1,000 years earlier. The next Quranic stage is Mudghah, meaning something that is chewed. At this stage, the embryo looks like a small piece of flesh with tiny indentations, just like teeth marks on gum. Professor Keith Moore, one of the world's leading embryologists, demonstrated this by chewing a small piece of plaster into shape, and it matched the early embryo exactly, even showing the ridges where the spine begins to form. Subhanallah, the Quran uses not just scientific accuracy, but imagery that a person of any era can visualize. Then Allah says, "We made out of that lump bones and clothed the bones with flesh." Modern embryology confirms bones indeed form first, followed by the development of muscles and flesh that wrap around them. This sequence is exact and only observable through microscopic imaging. Who could have described it with such precision if not the one who created life itself? When Professor Marshall Johnson, head of anatomy at Thomas Jefferson University, studied these verses, he was amazed. He said, "The verses describing embryological stages cannot be a coincidence. Perhaps Muhammad had a powerful microscope." When reminded that microscopes didn't exist in the 7th century, he smiled and admitted, "I see nothing here in conflict with the idea that divine intervention was involved when Muhammad recited the Quran." Even Dr. Keith Moore acknowledged that Quranic stages of development are far clearer and more descriptive than the modern numerical system used today. Soft Quran recitation, Arabic. Allah mentions similar stages in other verses. Was he not a drop of sperm emitted? Then did he become a clinging clot. Then did Allah make and fashion him in due proportion, and of him he made two sexes, male and female. Surah Al-Qiyamah 75:37-39. He who created thee fashioned thee in due proportion, and gave thee a just bias. In whatever form he wills, does he put thee together. Surah Al-Infitar 82-78. Each verse a reminder that creation is not random, but guided by divine wisdom. From a drop of fluid, to a clinging clot, to bones covered with flesh, every stage of our creation was written, described, and revealed more than 14 centuries ago. long before science could even imagine it. This is not just biology, it is a miracle, a living sign of Allah's perfection in creation. So the next time you look at your hands, your reflection, or the birth of a child, remember, so blessed be Allah, the best of creators. If this video strengthened your faith, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Islamic Knowledge, where science meets the science of Allah. Until next time, peace and blessings be upon you all.